Hey, we're going to get rolling in here today. We got a dreary winter day, but the one thing in Wisconsin, or at least where we're at here, not much snow on the ground so far this winter. Haven't only had to plow snow once or twice at my house, so I don't know. So we still have some cold weather in front of us. It probably change, but that's the way it has been so far here. Let's get to these markets in here, and we've talked here these last couple of weeks, and this is whether on some text alerts or our daily commentary, even on these webinars on, hey, this is how you should look at selling, and these are some reasons on why you should get some price protection in place. But we also have to admit there's some reasons not to sell, and what we have in front of us here are probably the top 5 things and what we hear from producers on, hey, why I don't want to sell. First one is, hey, I'm bullish, and I mean, we've made comments in our report we're bullish or bearish these markets, so everyone can have their opinions that way. If someone says, hey, I'm just really bullish these markets, I'm not going to sit here and tell them no, they're wrong. We have to all admit we don't know for sure where things are going to be here, not only next week, but next month or at the end of the year. Another thing we hear quite a bit is, look, I just don't need the money. Okay, and if I don't need the money, I might as well have this grain just sitting in the bin and see what happens. Followed up with last year, I just sold this crop too early, so I'm going to hold it this year. Another thing we commonly hear is, what about if there's crop problems this next year? We can't deny that. I mean, and we don't know what this next year's crop is going to be like. And then the other thing that we're getting quite a bit here recently is I don't want to sell because seasonally, this is the wrong time of year, to sell. So that's something we want to address here. Here's a December corn seasonal chart. And as you can see on the far left, and here is the first of the year, moving to January. And the red line is a 5-year seasonal. The black line is a 15-year seasonal. And if you're not selling on a seasonal basis, you are correct. Seasonally, the best time of the year to sell is really from April 1st to around July 1st, maybe June 15th. So this right now is a little bit early to sell if we're solely looking at a seasonal basis. Why we encourage some sales, and why I wanted to get old crop corn mostly cleaned up and look ahead to get some new crop on the books in here right now, is we went through this chart here about 3 weeks ago where you look at the top third, middle third, and bottom third. And so a big reason why we like pricing and starting to look ahead is we just look at these levels right now are fairly solid price levels to take advantage of. As we get towards a bean seasonal, the same argument can be made, as corn. This is a November bean seasonal for you. The one thing to keep in mind, though, is a seasonal peak can come a little bit earlier on soybeans than what we see on corn. We've had those bump up in the June timeframe as the market's added some weather premium. But on beans, you can really look at March, April as kind of your seasonal price to sell. And then you could have a weather scare in here come June. But when we look at where prices are actually at, this is what's really pushed us over the edge on wanting to get the old crop beans finished up and get a good start on new crop. As you just look at this, to get a sustained move above $15 on beans is just very unlikely. Our attitude is taking up 14 on new crop. It's kind of good enough. As we want to wrap up in today in here, what it really comes down to is you just need to do what you're comfortable with, okay? And whether it's doing nothing or hedging on the board or doing some cash sales, you need to do what you're comfortable with, okay? And then you also need to know the results of your actions or inactions for that. The thing we go back to that we hear a lot is extend the good times. The last thing I want to share with you, and I try to write about this and even discuss it here, is this is kind of just how I feel, or a little more of a gut instinct. And here this last week, when we sent out some texts or had recommendations on the report in here right now, and sometimes when that goes on, we just get a ton of phone calls, and our phones in here are lighting up like Christmas trees, and you've got producers saying, yes, I'm going to sell, and I got to tell you, over the years, whenever that happens, I kind of make the comment, man, everyone wants to sell. The market's probably going to go higher in here, and there's going to be better opportunities down the road. Well, the opposite can happen as well, too. And that's what went on in here. Last week, we put out some recommendations on some sales, and I got to tell you, it was a ghost town in here. I mean, our phone was so quiet. I mean, I grabbed my cell phone and dialed the number to actually see if the phone would ring. So, just my gut instinct right now is that, hey, because of that, we probably should be a little bit more aggressive in getting some a new crop priced out with. If you have any questions or suggestions for an upcoming webinar, give us a ring. Make sure to like us on our YouTube page. Have a great day.